Hey everybody, Bruce here, traveling with Bruce, live for the second time today, May the 14th, 2020. Major news just breaking in the last couple of hours that have happened here with Carnival in Miami and with Holland America out of Seattle. We've got major layoffs being announced now by the two different cruise lines, both owned by Carnival Corporation, of course, the publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange. We have here a scenario where a bunch of people are being let go. We already knew a couple of days ago, I reported, I think it might have been yesterday, I reported that the president of Holland America announced that he was leaving the company by the end of this month. That's in the next 2 weeks. That was a shock across the entire cruise business because he's much appreciated. He's much loved within Holland America, directed the company a whole different direction, took the company to culinary excellence, added a whole bunch of neat music options, jazz and blues and you name it. He really is revitalizing Holland America. And for 5 years, he's been getting nothing but, great reviews. So that announcement was yesterday that the president of the company was leaving. Well, now we just find out through news releases and updates out of Seattle, 2,000 Holland America employees were notified today that their services are no longer required. 2,000 people. Apparently, these folks are based in Seattle and Santa Clarita in California because Carnival has offices in California for Princess and I believe Seabourn. They have their offices. Most of their employees for Holland America are Seattle-based. And then, of course, they have their head office in Miami. But 2,000 employees today were told that their jobs are no longer around. They're being let go. We do not know of the split with respect to positions permanently eliminated versus perhaps furloughs. That's still to be determined. But coming as a complete shock here in the last week, the absolute staggering numbers of cruise ship staff being let go. Now, on the outside looking in, like I am, I as I said to you folks, I'm speculating that there won't be any cruises until 2022 because of all of these indications that we're getting, all these indicators that are popping up like crazy. You do not let go head office staff on a whim. You just don't do that. There's only a couple of instances when this happens. One is a bankruptcy. The other one is maybe a takeover, but even then it's a coordinated kind of a thing. But here we've got cruise lines right now who are scrambling every way they can, any way they can, to stop the bleeding of their balance sheets. And what we see with our own eyes when it comes to cruise lines is we always see pictures of cruise ships. That's all we see. We see pictures of cruise ships off the coast of Florida, or a beautiful scene off the coast of the Cayman Islands where the folks are tendering in. That's what we see with cruise lines. That's how we equate cruise ships. What we don't know and what we don't see is we don't ever go to the head office of a cruise ship line. Like, why would I ever go to Seattle to go to see the head office of Holland America? If I want to take a Holland America cruise, I do it online. I talk to a travel agent. I fly to the port city where the cruise is going to start from, and I see the ship, and they're there. That's my equation right there. There's Holland America right there. There's my ship. What we don't see are the blood, the guts, and the sweat and the tears behind the scenes that it takes to run a global company like Carnival and one of its subsidiaries like Holland America. Thousands and thousands of people are employed by the company to handle all of the logistics that we just take for granted when we're on a cruise ship. It's just magical. We find that when we get on a cruise ship, we've entered a world where we don't have to worry about anything. We don't have to worry about the regular day-to-day nonsense. We don't have to do dishes. We don't have to make our beds. We don't have to clean up after ourselves. we're just encouraged to just go and enjoy yourselves, and the staff here will take care of all the little things. And so cruise ship staff to us, or cruise line staff, are folks working on the cruise ship, the folks in the uniforms, our room attendants, our waiters, the bartenders, the folks at the pools. Yeah, and the performers on the stage, those are employees. But we still don't see the other employees, which are the ones I'm talking about today, the folks working at the head office, who have been informed today 2,000 have been let go by Holland America today out of Seattle and Santa Clarita. The other breaking news is Carnival Corporation, the actual mother company. They've made an announcement out of Miami head office. 1,300 are out of a job as of today. 820 positions have been eliminated. 537 approximately are furloughed. The hope is that those folks will be brought back when cruising comes back. They're probably also being extended health benefits right now. But this equals 45% of the Florida workforce. So almost half of all employees of Carnival Corporation were let go today in Miami alone. 2,000 Holland America people were let go today. I believe that represents half the staff, if I'm right. I might be a little off on that, but it's between 40 and 50% of the staff were let go today. I'm waiting now for additional announcements. As I told you 2 days ago or yesterday, the president of Seabourn, their 6-star cruise line, he's retiring at the end of this month. I'm waiting to hear about head office people being let go there. I'm waiting to hear about Princess, their other big cruise line that Carnival owns and controls, serious North American presence. I'm waiting to hear from Carnival. Are they going to lay off thousands of employees of Princess? It wouldn't surprise me. It's just a shock to me to see this news happen so fast, so violently, so quickly, because everything started in January, and it kind of, the snowball started to come down the hill, and it just got uglier and uglier and uglier. And we got more really sad news in February, then March, the first cancellations, then a worldwide stoppage in cruises. And here we go with the continued fallout that we're noticing on top of all of the tens of thousands of crew members around the world that are being let go. Remember, 400 cruise ships were in the water in January, and they would have likely had 300,000 crew members on board those 400 ships. I'm thinking 750, 800 an average, and I'm probably light. We might be upwards of 500,000 crew members that were on cruise ships. Remember the Oasis class for Royal Caribbean, 2,200 crew. The Bliss, I think, has 12 or 1,400 crew members. These ships are huge with just thousands of crews. So we're at 400,000 to 500,000 crew in January. Today, I don't know if there are 75,000 people left on cruise ships as far as employees go. We know that the cruise lines are scrambling to get them home, get them off the payroll. But the next shoe to drop is after you let go all of your onboard staff, who, by the way, are looked after by head office people, the folks that are being laid off now. These are the ones who are looking after hiring, firing, extending new contracts, figuring out how to get them home, figuring out how to get them from home to the ship, dealing with disciplinary matters, retirement issues, disputes between employer and what have you, training, all the people who train the crew members, all the people who train the performers, the dancers, the singers, the choreographers, the costume people. These are all land-based people that do all this other work. Then we have, in the case of Holland America, those of you who've been on Alaska cruise, you know that if you go on an Alaska cruise to Skagway or Ketchikan or any other spot, you've got all kinds of tours that you can take, some of which are ship sponsored, some of which are handled by operators. All these contracts for onshore excursions, not only in Alaska, but through the Caribbean, Mexico. All those brochures you get in your room every night telling you, well, you can go on a 5-hour hike, you can take a zip line ride, you can go on this excursion, that excursion. Those are all coordinated at head office by the cruise line operators for each brand. and the negotiations are made, the dollar splits are calculated, and then the accounting of it all has to take place because, of course, on board the ship, all we have to do is show our little room card or our little band, scan the band over the reader, and we have theoretically paid for it, but the actual processing of the cash from that moment in time backwards to the cruise line, to the operators of these excursions, and all of these contracts, they all have to be calculated out. We're talking accounting, legal, forensic, engineering, logistical, planning, marketing, and of course, future marketing. And again, going forward here, thinking forward now, coming back for cruising, when you let go head office like this, they may not come back. Some of these folks are going to immediately try to find another job. They've got bills to pay themselves. They may have a bit of a severance, but after a while, even that's gone. And so if they've had an offer on the side waiting for them that, you can work from home with this company in the meantime, they might take the jump and never come back to the cruise line. And now you want to bring back a cruise line with 30 ships, 40 ships, whatever the numbers are for each of these different lines, you are talking about some real logistical problems. The people who are in, your top negotiator for shore excursions isn't with you anymore because you let them go and that person found another job because they're talented. Now what do? You got to find someone else, which means you got to train somebody. You got to promote someone from within and bring a junior person up, hope they're as good as the person they're replacing. It might take 3 people to replace 2 people. It might take 4 people to replace 1 person. It all depends how talented these people are. And these people are gone into the ether perhaps forever. And this is why cruise lines hate to let go head office people, because these are the ones that are so tough to replace because they're so specialized in the job that they're in. And of course, we're dealing with human beings, aren't we? We're dealing with people who have families. We have, women who have husbands who have wives. We have kids. We have aunts, uncles, and grandparents. We have people taking care of other relatives. And all of that weighs heavily on management because we are, after all, a human species and we care about each other, I would think. These cruise lines are, generally speaking, have been very happy places to work at. A lot of people love their jobs with their cruise lines. They get great perks from their employers. They get to go on cruises with their relatives and friends for a pretty good deal. All that is lost, and the loyalty is evaporated. It's so sad to see in only about 100 days. In 100 days, three plus months, look at what has happened to the cruise lines. Unthinkable what's happened. Now, those of you out there who watch me at home, there's probably a lot of you sitting at home watching me right now, or who are watching me all the time going, Bruce, you're talking about my life, man. This is what's been happening to me for the last 2 months. There are all kinds of us who are doing things now or are in situations now that we had no idea we would be in 100 days ago. Unthinkable carnage in the employment ranks, careers upended, so many things in the air. We just don't know where we're headed. But I had to bring this information to you right away today. I would have brought this to you this morning on my first show today, but didn't know the news. This just came out in the last few hours. 3,300 employees in total have been sacked, have been let go, have been furloughed, laid off, eliminated in the last few hours through official press releases from Carnival. 1,300 at Carnival headquarters in Miami, 2,000 let go by Holland America from Seattle and Santa Clarita. Very sad news. And I hate to say it, but there's more coming, folks. I'm going to be repeating this kind of news, I think, going forward for a while. I don't want to have to do it, but to be fair to all of you out there who look to me to bring you the news, this is what's going on in the cruise business. The retraction, the pullback of expenses is the number one priority right now. And I can imagine that the bankers in Wall Street, the bond buyers, the top analysts for these cruise lines, these publicly traded company analysts, they are telling the cruise lines, guys, We know you've cut back a lot of expenses. You've canceled new ship orders. You've canceled refurbishments. You've canceled all kinds of promotional expenses. You've canceled all kinds of miniature maintenance issues. You're trying to just kind of duct tape these ships together to keep them going. And then you've done the big things, which are you've let crew go. You've brought crew numbers down to maybe 100 people per ship, 150 crew per ship, here and there, here and there. You're working on getting people home. You're battling the CDC. You're fighting the virus. You're fighting public perception. Carnival's getting ready to go to Congress next week to get raked over the coals by the congressmen. They're just licking their chops to get in their one-line shots for their local press. Get ready. It's going to get ugly. And these cruise lines are now under unbearable pressure from Wall Street to pare down your expenses to as low as humanly possible. Don't even think about ordering any pencils. Don't order any erasers. Nothing. People are working from home. Those that are left, eliminate as many as you can possibly get along with for now, because we bankers, we'll lend you money, but only to a certain point in time, and then we won't anymore. And you've got to show us that you can stick around for a year or two without a dime coming in the front door. And after that, we don't know what's going to happen. So, folks, this news, I'm sorry to say, is likely to continue, and it's not looking good. Anyway, there you have it. It's not happy news from TWB. Thank you for being here. Those of you who are here, I see Steph here. Lucas D is here. Rob Slevin's here. Gregory's here. Janice, Tina, Alfred, Lonnie. I've got Carol here. Janice, Alfred, Trish is here. Tina Fox, how you doing? Steph K, Wanda, JRS is always here. How are you guys doing? Thank you for being here today and always following my updates. Donna is here. Clifford. Who else have we got? Powerful being the, I don't know who that was. I missed that one. Some of the names, I just can't believe some of your handles. Thank you for following my channel, giving my video updates thumbs ups. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all your support of my channel. I will keep these reports coming as best I can. Powerful being the YouTube review queen. There we go. There's the name. JC is here. Thank you so much. JC is saying, Bruce, you finally convinced me, or this convinced me that cruises will not start for a long time. I don't know if it's 2022 like you, but I think a very long time now. These are sad days. This is going to slow down the cash refunds even further for folks not taking future cruise credits. Matthew Hoffman is wondering. Alfred is saying, every Holland America cruise has been special for me. I've done more Carnival for price. I think it's all about protecting the mother Carnival. I hope so. It's exactly protecting the mothership without any question whatsoever. Donna is saying, so sorry for all those cruise workers being let go. You have made our cruises possible, and they've been just fantastic. Which cruise lines do you think will survive? Steph K is asking me, or not survive? Well, at the moment, the publicly traded companies, I think, are okay. We're talking about Carnival with all of its cruise lines, 9 cruise lines, Royal Caribbean with its 3 or 4 or 5 different cruise lines, and Norwegian. I think they're all right. I think that oh, thank you, Scott Weber. Thank you very much for your donation. I think that MSC will survive because MSC has deep pockets from its mother corporation, the MSC Container Ship Company, the second largest in the world. Viking, I think, is going to be all right, although I've heard rumors that Viking is looking to do some refinancing, and they're probably rearranging some of their ship loans, but they're a private concern. They don't have to make public announcements like these companies that I'm telling you about here. When you trade on the New York Stock Exchange or NASDAQ, you got to come out with the public with any material effective news, and this is material news. When you lay off practically half your staff in one day, that is a material bit of information you've got to release. Viking doesn't have to do that. Virgin Voyages doesn't have to talk publicly. They're not publicly traded. Who else am I thinking about? Disney Corporation. They would generally come out publicly, but the Disney Corporation has already come out and told the market, what they're doing with their cruise lines, and that they've cut back expenses and so on. But they may not have to be as drastic because their pockets are probably deeper, because Disney still has income coming in from some of their divisions, like their television divisions, their movie divisions, their entertainment side. They still have income. They're not like totally cash starved. like the cruise lines are right now. So it's not likely that they're going to go under. Janice is asking, Richard Fain, CEO of Royal Caribbean, is forfeiting salary until I think October. Yes, he is not taking cash. Neither is the president of Norwegian. I believe the president of Carnival's also foregone his salary as well. Excuse me, folks. I believe that senior management of all three, they've all taken pay cuts as it is, whereas the top guys are taking zero salary, like zero, where everyone else is taking anywhere from 20 to 50%. That might be adjusted. There may be even more. There may be deeper cuts and or layoffs or voluntary early retirements. I don't know. I have a suspicion right now that there's a lot of behind the scenes negotiating going on between the bankers, the board of directors, and senior management, and that they are already conversing with lawyers and employment headhunter specialty firms that can help guide them forward with respect to what kind of package should you offer someone that you're letting go without cause. I mean, you're letting a senior vice president go that makes $250,000 a year, $300,000 a year, has been a star employee for 10 years with your company. You want to get rid of this person because of the fact you can't afford them anymore. How do you do it? Do you just let them go with nothing, or do you offer them a parachute, a bit of a 3-month salary? Thank you for being here. Sorry, we can't keep this kind of stuff. So there's a lot of human resources negotiations going on, which have got to be gut wrenching, because none of this is in the playbook for normal behavior of a corporation. This is not how companies normally operate, that within 3 months we go from booming business, where cruise lines were expecting 30 million travelers this year to take a cruise, all-time record with new ships coming online, to the complete opposite, a total stoppage of all income and business in one day in March. And no idea when we're going to start up again. Complete blank check. I have no idea. The losses could be hundreds of millions or billions. It's just endless. So as a responsible company, and as management, senior management of these companies, they're stewards of their shareholders' investment, and they have got to make the moves that have to be made. And this is why Richard Fain and the others, generally speaking, get paid the big bucks, because these are the guys that are under the gun to make the tough calls, and as are their lieutenants. But Richard Fain isn't being paid to make these tough calls. He can't be paid right now, but he's okay with that. He's prepared. He's prepared to work for free for the company he's worked for over 30 years. It shows you the loyalty. He's not going anywhere, and he's going to ride this through with his people, because he's an optimist in the long run that something positive will come forward, but it might not be this year or next. Like I said, 2022 might be the year. So there you go, folks. This is really disappointing. It's really depressing to have to keep bringing you this, but I gotta give it to you straight, because this is how I see it. This is how I'm witnessing it. This is how it's playing out. I feel the pain for all the people that lost their jobs today. I'm so blessed to be able to cruise to Alaska a year ago, says Big Bear 54. Remember, folks, your last cruise that you took, that I took, it might be a long time before we, get to that again. I think that by the time we do get back to cruising, it might be so different that we really have trouble recognizing it, that we're really going to go, wow, this is just nothing like the last time I took a cruise. This is absolutely nothing like the last time I took a cruise. That could well be the thing. It's unbelievable. Fitzroy is here saying, I just came home from work, cannot miss your show. Just beautiful weather. Right on. Thank you. Matthew Hoffman is saying, did a 12-day land and cruise with Holland America on the Noordam, stayed at the Holland America Lodge, spent 3 days near Denali. We're fortunate enough on the doomed train ride back to Anchorage to see Denali Peaks, or not doomed, The domed train. Gotcha. It's a typo. That would be exciting and really spectacular, a once in a lifetime possible kind of trip for a lot of us. Again, that all the logistics of putting that trip together for you, Matthew, that 12-day trip. Just think of how many people are working at head office for months way prior to when you got there, probably a year prior before you took your trip, to set up your trip and every trip thereafter to make it seamless. That we're just turning over thousands of people on these land and ship tours all season long, and it's just easy going for the traveler. Makes it feel it looks so easy. And yet, behind the scenes, there are a lot of people who are working their tails off to make this work. Scott Weber, I still have an Asian cruise booked for October 25. Don't know if that's happening, though. Japan is having problems. Yeah, I would be doubtful, my friend, if that is going to, if that's going to happen. I really don't know if that's going to happen. Who else is asking me? I've got some questions here. Tina is asking me, did they lay off PVPs too? PVPs. I don't know what that stands for. I'm sorry. Some are gone. RP for personal. Is that personal people? Or are you talking about people you talk to? I'm not sure what that means. And aloha from Florida. Welcome. JRS, despite bad news, hit the like button on the way out, please. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yes, please give the video thumbs up if you could. I appreciate that from my channel. Everyone's saying hi to me. Ron is here. Sonny Wallace is here. Gerard is here. All saying hi to me. Thank you so much, folks. Scott Weber, thank you, Scott, for your contribution today. All donations are gratefully accepted. Thank you very much. Al Reed, thanks for your info. Sad as it's good you're here to inform. Linda Jackson, I guess getting my money from the canceled cruise will be even longer than today, 30 days and counting. You will be refunded. It will happen. They have the cash. These cruise lines will do it. It will take place. In some cases, though, they have warned people that it can take up to 90 days. So, but yes, you will be refunded. Allison, sad all over the world. Impact on the Philippines and Indonesia and India. So horrible. The third world is really getting it. And the outbreak has not yet hit the third world like it's going to. We are early yet. Sonny Wallace, so sad for all the cruise workers. We're feeling for them. If you're enjoying this broadcast, please take a second and like it. Give Bruce a thumbs up. Thank you, Bremnet. I appreciate it. Jim is saying, hey there. JRS saying, you've only got 50 thumbs up. We can do better than that. Thank you, folks. Ernie, patiently waiting to book whenever cruising comes back. Right on, my man. I will be right there with you. Fitzroy, I think all cruise industry will have a comeback. Mark is asking, so what is this going to do with refunds for the people that are still waiting? I know they seem to have plenty of staff to take reservations and new money. Have you heard anything? Like I just said a few minutes ago, you will be refunded if you're waiting for a refund. They have raised enough cash to take care of refunds. That should not be an issue whatsoever. People being let go today are not necessarily in the refund department. We're talking about marketing people, logistics people. Remember, there are people in these companies that do nothing but buy fuel for the fleet on a future basis. They buy fuel contracts, futures contracts. There's all kinds of those folks. The folks who work with the insurance companies to insure every cruise ship, to insure accidents, to insure interruption of business, to insure the new engine they put in this ship over here last year, or the insurance regarding dry dock upgrades. I mean, it's endless. There are legal people, assistants, accountants, the number of positions to run a cruise line. We just don't know it. If they ever made a movie, if you ever went to a movie theater and you just saw a movie about Holland America, and then at the end they ran the credits with all the names and all it would take an hour just to go through all that. Sonny Wallace waiting for canceled deposits from 3 cruises. Donna Manitou, JRS Bruce said the other day that thumbs up doesn't help for YouTube analysis, but today he's asking for them. I'm always, Donna, I'm always talking about analytics. It helps dramatically with analytics. Always helps. I don't know where you're getting this, that it doesn't. I don't know what you're listening to, my dear. I need thumbs ups badly to convince and show YouTube's analytics computers that this channel is having a strong interactivity with its viewers. Don't know where you're getting the idea that I don't. I don't understand it. JRS, Don, I've always heard thumbs are good for analytics, especially live shows. Thank you. JRS, Bruce, say thumbs down, count two. Thumbs down don't make a difference to the impression rate of the computers. It doesn't say, if someone gives me a thumbs down, it doesn't mean that the computers are not going to recommend the channel. It just shows more activity between, the guy who's made somebody mad and the person who's pissed off. But it's just another reflection of activity. Donna, JRS, that's what I always thought, but he said no other night. I always keep thumbs up. I always give show a picture. Anyway, thank you for the thumbs ups, you guys. I appreciate it. I know he hates to give bad news. I hate giving bad news. Let's see here. Donna is going on to say, Donna, you're being very kind to me today. Bruce is one of the two that I watch that give up the real info without sugarcoating it. Some others just talk about cruising this summer. Thank you for that. I know others are agreeing with you. Steph K, I was supposed to cruise this weekend to the ABC Islands. I had been booked for a year before being canceled. I rebooked for this New Year's with a backup cruise the following New Year's. Right on, Steph K. Let's hope these all happen. Gosh, it's just so rough right now. I was booked on the Princess to Alaska for today, says Carol from California. I'm sorry, it's not happening. JRS is saying, Bruce, you went from 50 to 70 thumbs up in like minutes. Thank you, guys. Roy, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Here we go. Personal vacation planner, PVPs. Are they laying off PVPs? That's the question. And I can't answer that with any authority because I just don't know. I don't have the list of the positions that are being eliminated. I can only guess what they are. I'm going to say, though, that if they're offering cruises, which cruise lines are for 2021, 22, and now 23, PVPs are necessary because PVPs are the people that we interact with and that also interact with travel agents. And so you don't want to shut down the side of the company that can bring capital in with respect to booking new cruisers. But again, layoffs are layoffs and they can be brutal. So I don't know. Carol, I've been doing Alaska twice a year. So sad to miss this year. Blaine is here. How you doing, Blaine? Welcome to the show. Nice to have you here. Marge Weber, we canceled our Norwegian October cruise on the new Encore. We hope to get our refund. You will. Thank you, Tina, for helping me with the personal vacation planner thing. I had no idea what that was. Donna, Carol from California, we're due to have our first ever Alaska cruise next month. We had a week land tour after. Oh, man, that would have been great. I'm sorry you're missing out on this. Emily Archer, my sister would graduate today. She went to college to become a full-time teacher. Way to go, Emily's sister. Well done. Carol from California, you would have loved it. Have been there 8 times. Patrick, Bruce, is Carnival still operating as scheduled? Well, they have not canceled their August sailings. Like the last time they told us that they were going to be back in business was 8 ships in August. I don't think that's going to happen. That's just, again, that is Bruce's personal opinion. Bruce, Traveling with Bruce guy, doesn't think there'll be any cruises in 2020 at all. And I don't think there may not be any in 2021. I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm just telling you what I see happening. And when I bring out reports like today with 3,300 more effective job eliminations today, these are the folks that make cruising happen. These are the folks that allow Carnival and Holland America and all the other brands to cruise. Without these 3,300 people, this army, you're not getting cruise ships sailing with any coordination whatsoever. You're not getting the staff on board. You're not getting the food on board. You're not getting the booze on board. You're not getting the doctors on there. You're not getting the supplies that you need for the rooms. You're not getting the dancers, the singers, the entertainers, nothing. Engineers, air conditioning specialists, plumbers, electricians, all these folks are coordinated by head office staff. They're the ones being let go today. And so these cruise lines are shutting down. They're not ramping up right now. And so cruising this year doesn't look promising from what I see here. Donna, Carol from California, I am not getting excited for Alaska until 2022. The prices are just so high already for next year. It looks beautiful. We'll make it one day. JRS is saying, I was remarried by the captain in Glacier Bay. Way to go. Carol, it is worth waiting for. Debbie Manuel is in the house, keeping you busy today, Bruce. Welcome, Debbie Manuel from Chico, California, one of my sponsor members. Emily, how do you think the virus ended up Battleship? Only one member had gotten the virus. Yeah, I'm not going to comment on the U.S. Navy and what's going on there. I just haven't been following it very closely because it's just not my gig. So I'm just going to defer that topic entirely. Jennifer, and imagine the impact on the tourist-dependent islands. Yes, the devastation economically that's happening in the Caribbean already. That's going to happen or starting to happen now for Alaska. It is going to be gosh awful, really bad. Victoria, British Columbia, Vancouver, British Columbia, Seattle. The numbers are going to be really, really bad. It is just not going to be a good year. Donna, JRS, I bet the photos are beautiful. Congratulations on your anniversary. Ray is saying, wondering, could cruise lines stagger breakfast, lunch, and dinner times? They could, but they might be restricted as to how many passengers are on ships to really, control distancing, I guess. The office people should have ordered hand sanitizer dispensers for the ships after the last fire. Folks, you got to understand, QRT, there is always hand sanitizer on cruise ships. You know the term washy-washy? Every time you walk into a restaurant, you got to sanitize your hands. That wasn't the problem on cruise ships, folks. That was not the problem. Scott Weber, I know Los Angeles County will not allow cruise ships into the ports of LA or Long Beach for at least the next 3 months, and who knows after that. Yep, that's right. Seattle is closed. They'll be down for the rest of the year. Vancouver, British Columbia, Victoria, the provincial government in British Columbia is saying don't even think of cruising this summer at all in British Columbia. Like, not at all. They're telling the federal government, keep the ports shut down right through the rest of the year. So there's nothing going to happen up there for 2020. My gosh. Bruce, you have no thumbs downs. Just give it a minute there, JRS. Just as soon as you mention it, it'll happen. Don't worry. I'll get thumbs downs. There, Debbie's going, don't jinx them there, man. Sonny Wallace, Bruce, watched you from the beginning. Your reading skills are super fast now. Thank you. I'm doing the best I can. Bremnet, my personal vacation plan for Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, they're still working, and I would anticipate them to still be working. I really do. What do you think is going to happen with Pona Cruise Line, says Carol? I'm led to believe that Ponant is relatively well financed, but again, I don't know the details of that ship company to its core. But they're going through what everyone else is going through. They have probably laid off a ton of their staff. They're just laying low, and they're hoping, they're just hoping that they can get back into business. If they can find an area of the planet that will allow cruising, they'll send ships there to start cruising. But again, I don't know. It's a 6-star line. It's high end. It's first class all the way. I wonder about, say, the cruise line for the hotel chain, the Ritz-Carlton people. They wanted to bring out a ship. Their ship has been delayed because now with the virus, the shipyards are way behind. Their ship has been way behind. They've had technical issues, and they may not launch until 2023. The way this is going, they were supposed to be sailing in already this year, as far as I recall from a year or two ago. They were pretty convinced they'd be sailing by 2020, but not happening. Shawana's Creative Circle is here. How you doing today? Rose, Marie, I bought stock in Royal Caribbean. I have faith. A Citizen is here. What happened to the rich guy that was making a copy of the Titanic? Ship's being built. I'm told it'll be done sometime later this year or next year. So from what I know, it's happening, but I'm not following that one very closely. Bettina Brower, I don't know if you talked about it already. I was reading that the Seychelles have banned cruising. Yeah, 2 years. The Seychelles. I'm told it's the Seychelles. They have banned cruising for 2 years until 2022 before they will allow cruise ships back in. That's what I'm hearing as well. So they're just not interested in bringing cruise ships in right now. They can't handle any cases. They don't want anything to do with it. And so there won't be any cruising through the Seychelles. Now, for the Seychelles, the ships that have usually gone there were the ships that were on round the world type cruises, or that would be like the Asia to Africa segment of a round the world cruise. And then there would be like a South Africa to Britain segment after that. And the Seychelles have been popular. They've been quite reasonable. But yeah, they're not in play now. They're totally out of play. I'm just noticing my comments may have stopped on my computer. I'm just double checking. I think the CDC will extend to the end of 2020, sometime in late June. So sad to see, says Brandon. Brandon, you could be right. Again, I am of the opinion that the CDC and the cruise lines are not on the same page. They're nowhere near the same page, and I worry that cruise lines will be banned a lot longer than they want to be banned out of U.S. ports. And I suspect that if the cruise lines and the CDC are not on the same page, then the same will be said of other countries. It could well be that if you can't get into the U.S. under CDC rules, you're not getting into Grand Cayman, you're not getting into Mexico, you're not getting into Canada, you're not going into Europe, that kind of thing. So we'll have to wait and see what the CDC ultimately decides what they want to do and how they want to play this going forward. But next week, I think it's next week, the Carnival Corporation is being hauled on the carpet in front of Congress, the only cruise line to be brought in by Congress for a public hearing. It's only going to be to give them heck, to tell them how bad they are, and accuse them of causing all kinds of world problems. I think these politicians are just dying to get at them, and it's not going to be pretty. I'll follow it, but I'm not optimistic that anything good is going to come out of this. I think the cruise line will do everything they can to protect their reputation. But these Congress people, I think, are going after them, and it's going to be pretty rough. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, there you go, folks. I will stay on top of this as best I can for you. Hopefully, we'll have better news going forward. But I really am sad to say that today was a rough day for the cruise lines, and with 3,300 people let go, today was a bad day for employees at Carnival and Holland America. It's a really sad story. Alrighty, there it is. I'm done. I'm going to pack in this show here for now. I'm going to say thank you for joining me again today, and appreciate your comments, and thank you for your support, thumbs ups, everything else. I do appreciate it. We'll keep you posted on updates as they come out. As soon as I see something additional, we'll go from there. I think tomorrow is trivia day. We'll do trivia tomorrow in the afternoon sometime, early evening Eastern time. I'm going to put some trivia together tonight, and we'll do that tomorrow too. All right, guys, thank you for being here, following me today. All your support, I appreciate it. It looks like my comments have shut down, so I can't see any more of your comments coming in. I'm going to end my broadcast here and say thank you for all your support. Have a good one, everybody. Stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy. We'll talk to you later. Traveling with Bruce is out of here.